During Hunger Action Month, we've explored the many reasons behind the crisis. Today, 12 News' Deidre Briscoe takes us to the Delta, where some places got left behind due to forced migration, resulting in a growing hunger problem.
Some would say the beginning of American culture started in the Delta, having given birth to blues, soul food, gospel, and world-renowned authors. Now what's left is a town that survives off of a fixed income and growing their own food. Over the past few decades, the decline of manual labor and the departure of manufacturing jobs have made difficult conditions worse in one of the nation's poorest regions.
At one time, this was the hub of everything in the United States. This was the richest region, and if there was shipping, it was done on the Mississippi River. Memphis was a major shipping hub because you had riverboats and you also had railroads, of course later interstates. But all of that changed. There were all sorts of things that impacted it. The mechanization of farms was a huge thing. The civil rights movement, as people began to stand up for themselves, was another thing.
With modernization, farming jobs left, and the economy that was supporting service jobs dried up. The restaurants closed, the grocery stores closed, and it forced a migration from the Delta.
We don't have no grocery store. We just have stores. You probably go buy a pop or probably some potato chips or something, but we don't have no grocery store. Like if you need meal or flour, shortening, a bath tissue, or washing powder, bleach, so you can't buy that here. We have to go like 30 or 24 miles away to do that.
The area continues to dry up even at local jails, where things are increasingly difficult because Parchman has downsized. What was once the largest prison in the world now has less than 5,000 inmates, and because few options are available in the areas, workers are fed by local churches.
This church serves the staff community at Parchman. It's much like a church or a chapel at a military base. And we started this church 36 years ago. Our people, for the most part, work at Parchman, or maybe they have one family member who works at Parchman. They don't all live on the compound, but they live right around in this community. Many of them do have Parchman connections. Things have become increasingly difficult.
Some say it left the town without hope.
When business leaves small town, that's the only little community service that they have is in the community. Yes.
So then what happens to the community after?
Well, afterward, people just sort of lose focus and hope on what they can do.
The introduction of machines and automatic devices made many towns thrive, while other towns have suffered from it. African-American people and poor white people who worked those fields left the Delta, heading to Chicago, Cincinnati, Detroit, and St. Louis. And many of them never came back. For 12 News, I'm Deidre Briscoe.